G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Carrack 300. This is a weapon that has been ported from Call of Duty Warzone, and as such has its generic Call of Duty name, Carrack. I'm not really sure what that means, but the 300 means the cartridge this thing fires. This thing is chambered in the Winchester 300 Magnum rounds, which are big bullets, good for long-range accuracy. That's what they were used in these things. They basically built the gun around that cartridge, specializing for longer range accuracy. But this thing in real life is known as a Walter MW2022. So it's a German-made sniper rifle of bullpup design, means the bullets are loaded in behind the trigger, allows for a lot of barrel length without overall rifle length, very advantageous, good for maneuverability. Usually video games give you bonus hipfire accuracy should you be using a bullpup rifle, so we'll see if this thing's hipfire accuracy is good as we get into combat. You can't use the bipod. It has custom reload animations and custom sounds and a lot of options for attachments, so let's get into it, shall we? So the receivers we've got semi-standard right now. Only thing this thing can be put in is just semi-auto, so I'm not even sure why you've got semi here, unless there was some crazy plans for a burst fire or a fully automatic receiver. Who knows? But anyways, we've got the advanced receiver here doing 528 damage off the bat, which is not too bad. This thing is semi-auto, so you can have a fairly high DPS whilst using this thing, which is always a good thing. Legendary effect is there. The slots there, obviously added by legendary modification. And you can throw some laser sights on the side here. We'll go for a red one. There's also options for blue and green as well. That's kind of cool, but we'll go for more of a red color. It'll match the outfit, don't you think? And right now I've got a standard scope, but there's a lot of options here for reflex sights, holographic sights, even holographic sights with magnifiers on them. I find that the standard scope is pretty much good for your sort of closer to medium ranges. It's going to be a see-through scope, so you'll have all of your view around you, so it's a pretty good balanced scope for any combat situation. But if you want to go for more of a longer range scope, then there's versions here that are a little bit bigger, including this 6.6 times thing. This one actually doesn't tell you how much magnification you're getting, but I'm thinking that we're getting a little bit more out of this one, for example, 9.5 times. I think the long range scopes, as standard in vanilla game, give you 10 times magnification, 10 or 12, I think it's 10. But that's a good option if you want to snipe with this thing. And looks like we're getting 311 range out of this thing. We haven't even extended the barrel yet, so this could be a very good weapon for long-range sniping. We don't have to worry about your bullets and ammunition, or I guess your bullets flying over a long period of time and losing that damage over range. And now we can change the pistol grip, making it all tactical and polymer if you want. Yeah, let's do it. TV Nort grip, let's do it. Increases recoil control. That's good if I want to fire this thing very fast indeed. And the longest barrel we can throw on in a big 30-inch, and it gives us 467 range, which is way over the average of Fallout 4 guns, which probably means that any target we can get in VATS, then we can just hit them with 95% accuracy all the time. So potentially grounding for overpowered already, but we'll take it. We'll take it indeed. And you can have some flash hiders, some flash suppressors. That's the same thing, actually. It's a different name for it. What I meant to say is, ooh, F-Tac Reaper. Nice. We'll throw that on. Muzzle brakes and compensators and the like, but we've got a suppressor here that'll change the sound to be nice and quiet and allow us to get better sneak critical multipliers, so we'll throw that on, and we'll make the stock match what we've got down the bottom here. That one? That appears to be something that you'd see out of Call of Duty. Now, funnily enough, I don't think you can change the handguard on this. This always has that furniture on that front grip as the standard wooden stuff, so that's kind of interesting. I would have liked to see that one change so it could match the rest of this, but that's what we get out of this thing. Now, you can throw on a different skin if you feel like it. If you want to throw a Breathtaker or a Breathtaker Black Cell with little bits of gold into it, I think it's a little bit much, but maybe for another version of the Carrack we'll be using this skin, but for now we'll just leave this as standard because immersion, right? There's also a damage slider there if you feel like it as well. You can max this out to just over 1,000 damage, which is pretty nice. And you can also change your rounds. Now normally when you see these sort of round modifiers, you'll find that it all fires the same cartridge, and which is the 300 300 Winchester Magnum, but as you can tell, there's actual different versions of this round to utilize, and this hollow point one gets us nearly 700 damage, so we're going to throw those in. Although the incendiary one here gives us a lot more of the Skyrim fire damage, which under normal circumstances you can't resist that with the standard armors, so that's a lot of good bonus damage. Maybe we'll try that out a little bit later, but these all have different versions of the 300 rounds that you'll have to craft on the workbench to get those. So let's talk about crafting for a second. I think we've gone over everything here. Yep. So on your chemistry workbench, find weapons at Carrack 300, and you can craft all of these rounds for some steel and lead. They'll give you a fairly healthy amount, so more hollow points. Bit of a typo there, let's not do that. So for 10 steel and 20 lead, you get 100 of those bullets, which is a damn bargain. That's really easy to find. And the Carracks, you can craft them for adhesive, aluminum, hunting rifle, plastic screws, springs and steel, and gun nut rank 2. So this is potentially early to mid-game sort of stuff and ability to get the Carrack, which is kind of crazy, but there you go. You would have thought that would have been a little bit higher to stop people from rushing to that should they start a new game, but you know, easy hunting rifles, easy accessible high-powered sniper rifles in the early game. That's fun. Alrighty, welcome to the immersive Gunners Plaza once more. The shooting gallery is ripe for the picking today, and here is what the Carrack looks like in first person. Note the hipfire accuracy on this thing looking really good with the bullpup design and also the laser sight at the same time. Pretty good combination. This here is just the standard scope, if you're wondering. This one here has the 9.5 times scope, which appears to be about the same. You're splitting hairs, to be honest. And this one here has a close range holographic sight. That's like a knockoff Aerotech, probably with a fake Call of Duty name as well. And a quick look at these things in third person. They're gigantic, they're massive, they look great. They've jumped from Call of Duty into Fallout 4, and they've made themselves fit in quite well. Not lore perspective, though. The lore perspective, it's kind of odd. Alright, so this one got the hollow points. This one here has got the incendiary. And it looks like we can hit these guys for about 2,000. And since this thing is semi-auto, well, isn't this just the prime shooting gallery, don't you think? I actually had one more round in that. That's fine. A little bit of a breather before we take on the next lot. Now, the laser sight here is a little bit off by the looks and perhaps not properly zeroed in properly, user error. But it has the potential to distract you just a little bit from the target that you actually want to shoot at. And these gigantic basketball-sized rounds appear to be clipping onto every single surface ever. Anyways, I'm going to crit this guy, because why not? Cop that, mate. And maybe a little bit of gun fu action here just to get us started off. That's pretty efficient, to be honest. And dare I say it, I just saw a sniper knockdown, which is great for a weapon with a high rate of fire, especially a sniper of this caliber, of course. Let's go over to the hollow point now. That there headshot getting me 3,600 damage. A lot of visual recoil when it comes to using this thing, but the camera's not getting thrown like to a telescopic moon kind of view here, so I can appreciate that. Maybe the animations are rotoscoped and they're designed for a much better first-person shooter game, like proper actual first-person shooter game, and not a action RPG that has just been tooled to play like one. Safe to say they've done a pretty good job here, and the power on this thing means I'm not going to complain too much about having gunners that are immediately not killed with this thing firing a single shot, so that's great news. This one here obviously got a much closer range sight, which means the recoil factor won't be as bad on its magnified self, and obviously with the gigantic muzzle brake on this thing, it's one at the very bottom of the list. It's said to reduce the vertical recoil at the most, and if you really want to drop the hammer on this thing and fire 10 rounds as fast as possible, you can fire this thing really, really fast. Just look after your shoulder, because perhaps you won't get too much of that before something pops out or you strain yourself. So look out for that. Don't you worry about Kira here. She's built Wasteland tough. Like these gunners who can take multiple 300 Winchester Magnum rounds and still run around like nothing happened. We're just a little bit stronger here in the Wasteland. We've got like radioactive wheat bix in our breakfast or something. Let's throw the next magazine in. As a reminder, this one here does have the incendiary. Not seeing much in the way of burning. I'm thinking what's happened here is we've swapped the projectile. That's a cool vertibird right there. I think we've swapped the projectile to a suppressed version when it should be the what's it called? It should be the incendiary version, but that's fine. And this is probably the first time I've ever had Brotherhood of Steel back up here. Alright, one more door to breach. And I could have sworn I threw on the easier lockpicking mod, so I was going to put my my bobby pin in a stupid spot, but never mind. And I don't appreciate getting shot like this, so you, my friend, are going to get shot in the head. And we'll use that to fill up some much-needed VATS criticals. And just like I thought, even from extreme ranges... Oh, wait, no! There is a bit of flaming going on. You'll never notice it because it does 1 damage every... whatever pip it is. How long the pips take to do. But, wow. At least the extra incendiary Skyrim flame damage does a little bit, but... Yep, we totally cleaned up there. Is that a super mutant? No. I was way off, in fact. I think he's running back home. He's had enough of these gunners. I'd too, yep, you gotta fix that windscreen there, I think. Anyways, on to the next monster, which is down there. So, you know what? Let's not even cut. Let's keep on going here. And, of course, there's the super mutant suicider who resides inside this train carriage. There he is. And provided nothing spawns at where the mighty swan is, then we'll be in good shape just to smash those bullets down range. There's our sniper knockdown. And if we want to speed this up a little bit more, we've got guaranteed VATS hits. Let's use all of the criticals. Very nice. And now it is time for actual fight. And what we'll do here is we'll get our close range one out. Just in case you haven't heard the unsuppressed version yet, I've neglected to use it consistently thus far. Anyways, I suppose we'll use his face to grind up some criticals. Of course, our reflex side is going to make us a lot more in the way of efficient with VATS. And as you can tell, when we're firing, the VATS is happening in real time. So it's like a good... it's pretty much a fusion between the fastness of the VATS in Fallout 76 and the targeting in the more cerebral approach, you could argue, of Fallout 4, which I think is a pretty good balance. And I did talk about getting this mod on just because we don't want to be waiting for like an extra couple of seconds each time we do a VATS critical, you know. I can win this tank war, by the way, mate. Your best course of action is to not stand there and take all these bullets. Oh, look, the Brotherhood has shown up. Now, you're going to target them? No. And that is one dead swan. Alright. Now, are you going to drop anything good today? I demand legendaries. Powered metal. Okay, that's fine. That's great. Alright, let's move on. Alright, I don't think we've got a lot of crits left, but the hits are pretty much guaranteed anyway. So we'll start off this fight with not a guaranteed first hit, but pretty much could have been anyway. We get an immediate sniper knockdown, but at the same time we get some criticals. He's just fallen in. He fell through the earth and come back down the long way around. And there we go. We've just killed him with basically zero effort at all. So yes, isn't that great? I did pretty well there. Could you call this thing overpowered? Maybe. Not the worst that I've seen, but it's certainly very strong indeed. And the best thing about it is it's got no fire delay, so That shoulder's going to be bruised in the morning, but at least you can know, when you are firing this thing, it's going to actually shoot when you pull the trigger, be it a mouse button or a controller button. Alright, our next target is going to be the Lobster Man, who lives down in this lake somewhere. There he is. But this time, no cheap VATS hits. We're going for a approach here that, actually, I think we've knocked him down. Yep. Oh, he's over there. He somehow got over there. Okay, let's switch guns instead of going through the whole reload. Steady now. See, I've been using a weapon that's actually quite a little bit like this. It's a bullpup sniper rifle, big 50 cal thing, but it's in Starfield. It's got this laser sight on it. It's called like a recon laser sight, and you point it at enemies, and through walls it just highlights their silhouette. Some good stuff. But for whatever reason, Mr. Lobster seems to have bugged out. Well, if we're bugging out, then we're going to kill some bugs then for revenge. Enter Roachzilla. He's a hard bastard to target, but should we get a knockdown on him and a few subsequent easy cheap shots on him, then we're in pretty good shape. And if we get into a lot of trouble, then Winter's in that little house over there, so that'll be good. She's talking. Oh yeah, Winter's helping. Winter, it's eating me. Yes, we've liberated the Commonwealth from the wrath of the Roachzilla. Now, Preston Garvey will be able to sleep at night. And we got a VATS enhanced 10mm pistol for our troubles. Why are you looking so glum? Was that your pet? Who knows? Alright, so that there was the WA200, or the Carrack 300, 2000, WA2000, that's what I meant, that's what I said. And as we end this video with a nice view of the surrounding areas of the Sanctuary Hills, which, you know, I feel like our draw distance could be a little bit better, but we get the idea. That there has been the Carrack 300. It's a really good weapon. Plus, you can wear it. Check it out. So if you've got a gold-plated sniper rifle like this on your back walking in Diamond City, people will know not to mess with you, so that's good. But really solid weapon mod. Really, really powerful as well. Perhaps a little bit too powerful if you are worried about getting some weapons that might change the balance of your game. But I'm not going to complain about that. It's a fantastically made weapon mod. A great port, despite all the assets being made by some guy at Activision or whoever got that Call of Duty. They've put it into Fallout 4 really well, and it's a really good weapon, fun to use. So recommend it if you want to download it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And what are you looking at? You got your eyes on. Who knows?